Surprisingly, this is not a passenger car, but it is quite easy to drive. It has a hydraulic booster. On this particular model, such a device not only helps to drive the car, but also softens the blows from the suspension. This car has a big plus: it won't wind you on the steering wheel. The sound of the engine, the exhaust system, the howling of the rear axle, the music. The car has its own voice, recognizable from a mile away. Recognizable on a subconscious level. By the sound it was possible to determine whether the car was loaded or empty, old or just from the factory. The glass is panoramic, and above it there is even a visor, the same as on the legendary UAZ-452. Of course, you can't accelerate quickly on it, but there are 5 gears and many of them are synchronized. The top speed is 50 miles per hour, but there is one caveat. Do you know what the fuel consumption is? At a speed of 25 miles per hour, the consumption will be more than 7 gallons per 60 miles. So we're not in a hurry. The stove is warm, the sun is shining, beautiful. They are leaving, loyal, reliable, but gluttonous, created back in an era when there were no KAMAZ trucks. There were many of them, and I need to remind you about them. Where did it all start? The first work on the new Soviet truck began in 1953. The main task was to replace the ZIS-150, which, although it was not bad, was morally obsolete in many respects. Initially, the project was called ZIS-125, ZIS-150M. Later it was renamed ZIL-130. It makes no sense to hide it, and there is nothing wrong with it. Our engineers were fascinated by American machines. Everyone was in love with them back then. America was the trendsetter in automotive fashion in all classes, and trucks were no exception. It doesn't matter who specifically inspired our artists. Hooded trucks with a fairly bright appearance were fashionable at that time. For example, Ford F-600 or Studebaker. Similar, but there is a significant difference. Therefore, I will say that ours were inspired and quite successfully. Engineers have tried and produced this model. October 1, 1964 is officially considered the start of mass production, but back in September 1962, the first 5 ZIL-130 models were tested in operation at the Yaroslavl tire plant. This is not quite a ZIL-130, it is a ZIL-130K or D2 chassis. I did not understand the difference. Explain to me in the comments. The full name of this dump truck sounds like ZIL MMZ-4502, and the whole meaning is hidden in these numbers. Let's take a closer look at the chassis. Of course, there is a frame here, it is necessary. It is massive, consists of spars of variable channel section, connected by 5 crossbars. In the front there is an extension and a buffer. We move on. All this stands on bridges, and everything that is below has not changed until 2016. It's a hypoid main gear. See how small the lid is. And if it was big, it would be 2-stage, like on the ZIL-164. Semi-elliptical springs themselves have a T-shaped profile. There are basic and additional. The ends of the additional springs and the rear ends of the main springs are sliding and require periodic lubrication. Something like eternity is located in front. I'll tell you more. The front axle is continuous, based on a forged I-beam. Here the kingpin is cylindrical with 2 flats for a wedge, located at an angle of 90 degrees. I agree, sounds like an Andron collider. In fact, if the kingpin is worn on one side, you can take it and turn it. Yes, that's how strange it sounds, to take and turn the kingpin. There are also shock absorbers and springs in the front, consisting of 15 sheets. The rear end is sliding, the brakes are drum in a circle. There were two configuration options for the 4502 model. The first is the simplest with a 6-cylinder engine from the ZIL 137. This car has another option. The engine is from ZIL 130 with 8 cylinders. The engine is gasoline, carburetor, 4-stroke. Its volume is 360 cubic inches. Maximum power 150 horsepower at 3,200 RPM. Maximum torque 402 Newton meters at 2,000 RPM. The bore is 4 inches, the stroke is 3.7 inches, and not a tenth of an inch more. Let's explore further. On the left we see a compressor driven by a belt from a fan pulley. He pumps air into the receivers. What do we have on the right? Let's figure it out. On the right side is the hydraulic booster compressor, also driven by a belt from the fan pulley. Guess what happens if one of the belts breaks? By the way, the engineers also spied on the motor from the Americans, but they modernized it quite a lot. No, this is a dump truck, and it was built at the Mitsubishi machine building plant. To be more precise, they took the ZIL 130 Shorty as a basis, 130 inches long, and installed their own body. Oh, and other details. And so they created. A short base on the go does not show a strong difference. But given the specifics of the work, this is not a problem. It will not be possible to go quickly into the field, especially with a load. Another advantage of this car is the engine, which allows you to drive even on the most severe off-road. Ground clearance is 10.6 inches. The carrying capacity of this machine ranged from 5.5 to 7.1 US tons. Carrying capacity grew over time, as did the quality of the car. But keep in mind that the weight of the machine itself is 755 grams. That is, it is carrying more than its weight. Initially, this truck was designed to help with agriculture. The task of the ZIL MMZ-4502 dump truck was to transport various economic goods, bulk homogeneous and heterogeneous masses, on all types of roads. The body has internal dimensions. Length 102 inches, width 90 inches, height 25 inches. Body volume without extensions 1,000 gallons. If you install the standard extensions, then there will be 1,350 gallons. The cabin is warm, light, and spacious. Due to its size, I feel something like safety here. It can easily fit 3 people, even not very slender ones. The dashboard is old, although the car is from a late model year. I wonder why. In fact, we are interested in these levers. Forgot about the brakes. They are one-sided here. It would be bad if they weren't here. It's good that we have them. But it's time to raise the body. Let me tell you a few words about hydraulics. The power takeoff box with the pump installed on it is attached to the gearbox hatch on the right side. The hydraulic tilting device has a complex structure and consists of a power takeoff, a pump, a hydraulic distributor control valve, a hydraulic cylinder, a restrictive valve, a flexible tank, and pipelines. If you do not fix it yourself, then everything is simple. You put it in neutral, you squeeze the clutch. This lever has 3 positions: neutral, body up, and body down. Now we release the clutch. Done. The magic has begun. If the system is working and the viscosity of the oil on its own subframe is correct, the body should lift with a load in 15 seconds. Often, instead of oil, unnecessary mining is poured. I remind you that this is more than 4 tons at an angle of 50 degrees. The tailgate tilt mechanism is automatic, but it can also be opened manually if desired. The body lowers in 20 seconds. By the way, about the ZIL plant in Mexico. This is complete nonsense, there is no such plant. ZIL died, like many enterprises. But the spirit of the plant and its atmosphere are still alive, despite modern technologies. And the hunt continues.